Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is YAHMAD. In this video we're going to be completing paper 3 from the CIE ICT IGCSE course. So we're doing May-June 2019 version 32. Paper 3 is a practical paper which is 2 hours and 30 minutes long. In the previous videos I've completed a data analysis part which was spreadsheets, and in this video we're going to be doing a website section. So the evidence documents I've already opened, saved and set up, so we can skip this part and we can go straight to question 1. Okay, and I've already annotated this question just so it makes a little bit of sense. So you will need to place screenshots and answers to questions in the evidence document. Yeah, we'll come back to that later on. Okay, question 1. Part of a web page is designed to look like this. So these comments I've added additionally, I've added them onto the question paper. So let's have a look. We're going to have cloud storage, hard disk drives and solid state drives, and within cloud storage we have this other list as well. So you've got two types of list, and you can see that there's a difference. One is ordered, so it's in a number format, 1, 2, 3, and the other list is unordered, so it's just bullet points are appearing. So what's the difference between the lists? We can come to this presentation here. To find this presentation, you can go to my website, click on this tab here, paper 3, and then open up the PDF here. So I've come down to page 10. So here's the two different types of list. Here, this is an unordered list. As you can see, the bullet points appear, and with ordered lists, the bullets of the list will appear as numbers. Okay, so the best way of remembering, the ordered list will appear in numbers, normally 1, 2 and 3. Unordered will appear as bullet points, so it could be discs, square bullets. Right, so what's the question asking us to do? A trainee has attempted to create this using HTML, as you can see here. Okay, so we've got all of the text requirements. However, analyze this HTML and suggest amendments. Identify where each of these amendments should be placed. Do not include CSS. Okay, and we're going to be placing our recommendations in the evidence document. So let's have a look again. So as you can see, we have an ordered list 1, 2 and 3, but here there's no mention of ordered lists. Okay, so what you'd have to do is you'd have to start the ordered list tag here before cloud storage, okay, and then end. Let me just drag this down. The ordered list after solid state drive. So you can pull it here or here, it doesn't really matter. So this is opening the ordered list tag and this is closing the ordered list tag. So that's what's going to give you the numbers. Now you can see we have these 3 items indented, and they're going to be unordered, so they're going to be appearing as just normal bullet points. So you'd have to basically place this tag here after cloud storage and before this line here, and then we have to close the tag. So when you close the tag, you include the slash. You can see the slashes here and the slashes here, and let's move that to the end of here. So the LI refers to a list, so that could be unordered or ordered, and if you want to be specific, you need to include these tags here. So for the evidence, the first thing you need to do, you need to identify, you need ordered tags, and then you need to place them in the right places. So before the start of the list and at the end of the list, as you can see here. Yeah, at the start and at the end. And then you also need to identify that you need to place unordered lists, so ULs, okay, for these 3 list items. So at the start here and then at the end here. So you need to open and close the tags, okay. And the last thing that will get you the final marks is this unordered list is embedded into the ordered list. So let's go to the evidence document, which I've already set up, and just to save myself a bit of time, I've got the answers here. So identify the ordered list, place an ordered list before cloud storage, so before here, yeah, and close after solid state drives. Yeah, so close it here. Okay, so that's your first 2 marks. Placing or identifying unordered list, which we have, Okay, that's your next mark. And place in unordered list after cloud storage. Yep, so it's come after this. And before hard disk drives. Yep, so it's before this line here, as you can see. And the unordered list is embedded within an ordered list. So it's part of this ordered list, but it's been embedded in. Okay, so if you go back to the example, the main list will be ordered 1, 2, and 3, and then this list has been embedded in and will be unordered, showing normal bullet points. If this was ordered, this would show also 1, 2, and 3, but obviously we don't want to do that. We want to have an unordered list. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that was the first 5 marks. The next 4 marks, question 2, complete each sentence with the name of the web development layer and place your answers in your evidence document. So if I just go back to my presentation again, and it's one of the first few slides now. So we have 3 presentation layers. Anything that's linked to the style sheet, the cascading style sheet, will be part of the presentation layer. So when you attach the style sheet, it normally gives formatting to a web page. You can attach one style sheet to many pages to have a consistent style. So this is a CSS. The content layer refers to anything in the HTML. Okay, so that could be your text, your images, your hyperlinks, your email links, your bookmarks. And your behavior layer is any scripting language used or added to a part of your web page. So you could have an image effect or pop-up message when the mouse goes over a picture, for example, or if a mouse goes over a button, and you may get a drop-down menu. So that's part of the behavior layer. So any scripting will be in this layer here. So let's go back to the question now. So place your answers in your evidence document. So obviously this will be blank. I've done it for you just to help you out. So the behavior layer is used by scripting languages. The content layer is used for hyperlinks to open a word process document. The content layer is used for the markup language, which is the HTML. The presentation layer is used to apply styles to all web pages in a website. So if I go back to my evidence document, you can see I've completed A, B, C, and D. Okay, let me save the changes. And as you can see, the answers are in the evaluation or evidence document. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So just before we do move on, if you're looking for this presentation, there's advice on how to, create the CSS, the difference between HTML, CSS. As you can see, this is creating CSS. Some information about hexadecimal colors, style sheets. In this paper as well, we are going to be looking at using the most efficient syntax. So here in this example, you can see H1, H2, and 3 will have the same font style. So we can do it together by placing commas after the tags and then creating one tag which will apply for H1, 2, and 3. So this attribute, the font style, will apply for H1, 2, and 3. And then H1, 2, and 3 can also be created separately with the individual components as well. So H1 will be 14, this will be 16, and this will be 18. So anything that's together, you can do it like this. So you're using the most efficient syntax. So again, to find this PDF, you can go to my website, the link's below the video, paper 3, and you can click on this PDF. Okay, task 2, web page. So you're going to create a web page and edit a style sheet for SuperDisk sales. Many of the people who will view the web page have a very slow internet connection. The web page and style sheet must work in any browser. All codes must be in hexadecimal. Make sure that your style sheet contains no HTML. Okay, so first thing we need to do is create a new folder called SDS_HTML, and we're going to do that in our source folder. So let me make a new folder and enter the file folder name. Okay, locate the following files and store them into your folder. So SDS, so we need to find the picture, JPEG, the text file, and the CSS file. So JPEG, text file and the CSS. So I'm pressing Control to select them all at the same time and move them into this folder here. Okay, so you should have 3 files. Done. Okay. So for this web page task, we're going to be using 2 softwares, and the reason I'm using the 2 softwares are because you don't have to pay for them. Basically, you can download them free onto your computer. So for the website part, I'm going to be using Microsoft Expression Web 4, and for any graphic editing tasks, I'm going to be using Paint.net. Okay, so both softwares are free to download, and that's the reason why I'm using these softwares. Okay, so let's go down to now question 3. We're going to open a file sdsdisks.jpg in a suitable application. Okay, so we're going to use Paint.net for this task. So if we go to File, Open, if we go into my SDS folder, and let me double check it. Yeah, so we need to open up this picture here. Okay, so reflect the image horizontally. Okay, save this image as disk1 JPEG into your SDS HTML folder. Okay, so to reflect this image, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Image, and we want to flip it horizontally. So it's quite easy to use the software. So that's a horizontal flip. Okay. Once you reflect the image horizontally, we need to save this as disk1, okay, into your folder. So to save this, we go to File, Save As, and let me just enter the name. Disk1, save the, keep it as JPEG, save. Okay, done. So that's that done, quite straightforward. Now we're going to rotate the image, disk1 90 degrees clockwise. Okay, so if we go to Image, I want to select Rotate 90 degrees clockwise like this. Okay. Save this image as disk2 into your SDS HTML folder. So File, Save As, and let me just put 2 in here. Save. Okay. Done that part now. Now we need to crop the image disk2 so that all the solid state drives is visible. Okay, with an equal amount of red background on each side. So this image must be square. Do not distort the image. The hard disk drive must not be visible. Whoops. So that's a hard disk drive and that's a solid state drive. So we want to basically crop the image into square shape. Okay, having equal spacing of red on each side. So I'm just going to have a look at my ruler up here. So yeah, it's about 4 of these dashes here. So if I get to here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to get to here to crop. So first of all, I'm going to make my selection. Okay, so let's make my selection. And I want to get to here. Yep, that's about equal. And I've got a ruler here on the side as well, so you can see I'm just using the ruler. Here's about 3 of those pointers. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so that's what I want to keep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Image and crop to Selection. Okay, I'm happy with that. So as you can see, we've got ruler down here and ruler at the top. I was just using the rulers. It doesn't have to be exact. I think that's fine. So we've done that now. Do not distort the image. The hard disk drive must not be visible. Okay. And we're going to save this as disk3 into our folder. So File, Save As, and save it as disk3. Okay, done. Now we need to resize this picture so it becomes 600 by 600 pixels. Save this image as disk4 into your SDS HTML folder. So to resize the picture, we go to Image, Resize, and if I change, right now the aspect ratio has been maintained. So if I type in 600, what we don't want to do is maintain the aspect ratio. Okay, so I need to take this option off. So if you do maintain the aspect ratio, you can see the height has automatically been changed, but we need to change both dimensions to 600 by 600, so we need to take this off. Press OK. So yep, so 600 by 600, that looks fine to me. Yeah. Okay, and now we're going to save this as disk 4 into our folder. So file, save as disk 4, save. Yeah, done. So question 4, display the contents of your SDS HTML folder showing a folder name, image dimensions, all file names, file extensions and file sizes. So if I go to my source folder, this is basically what we need to show. What do we need to include? So we've got a folder name shown already, so you can see the folder name is going to be here, so that's where that's showing. Image dimensions, which we don't have, so we can right click up here, yeah, click on more, yep, so dimensions we want to show. Okay, remember the fourth picture is 600 by 600. All file names, file extensions and file sizes. So file name, file type, and is there another one for extensions? Here the extensions are shown here, so .jpeg, .text, .css. So I'm happy with that now. So take a screenshot and place this into your evidence document. Make sure the folder name, image dimensions, yeah, that's all showing. Okay, so let me take a print screen. Obviously, if you want to use a snipping tool, that's up to you. I just prefer using this method now. So I've just pressed my print screen button, and I'm going to crop off any parts which I don't need. So I want to include some parts. Make it the screenshot nice and clear. So file name with the extensions, the type of image, the size, the dimensions, and the folder name is shown here. So let me save the changes. Okay, so that's all done. Okay, question 5. We're going to be creating a web page called solid_state_drive.htm. So this is short for HTML. So to create this web page, I'm going to be using Microsoft Expression Web 4. So the first thing you should do is click on File and New and select HTML, and then we're going to quickly save the page into our source folder. So 2019 June paper 3 into our source folder and into the folder we created, and enter the name, okay, .html. So that's fine. So it's going to save in any of these formats here, so .htm or HTML is fine. Press save. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do is create the table structure as shown below. So before we can create a table structure, let's identify how many rows and columns the table has. So it has 1, 2, 3 rows. So if I go to table, insert table, we can say we have 4 rows. And how many columns do we have? 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Obviously you can see here these cells will be merged at some point. Now before we finish, we also need to identify how wide the table is going to be. So it's going to be 1400 pixels going across, and you can see each table cell is identified with a letter and all dimensions are in pixels, so that's really important. The letters and dimensions shown in the table must not appear on your final web page. So we can include the size now, so 1400 going across. So in pixels, we type in 1400. You don't really need to include the height. You can do if you wanted to. The height would be basically the second numbers added all up together. So it would be 80 plus 600 plus 80. But we don't need to do that because when we change the cells, the height will automatically adjust. So for now, let's make it 1400 pixels wide. Press OK. Let me double check if that's okay. So yeah, that's fine. And what we need to do, if you want to double check the size of your tables, let me double check. Go to highlight the table, go to table properties. Yeah, so yeah, that's fine. I was just double checking. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge the top row across. So if I highlight all three cells, right click on my mouse, click on modify, merge the cells. We're going to merge these columns here. So modify, merge. And then let me just double check. So we've got 1, 2 at the bottom. And then what we also need to merge is these two cells here. Whoops. Modify and merge. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So now let's start putting in the height for each of the cells. So this is going to be 1400 by 80. So let's right click the top row, cell properties. So we can specify this again. It's not going to change anything, but we can do it again. And the height is going to be 80. Make sure you select in pixels, apply, done. This will be 800 by 600. Okay, the height will be 600. Apply. That's that done, and we need to go across now. Click on this cell here, cell properties, 600 by 600. So okay, and if we go down now, we've got these three cells. We've got 1, 2, and then 3. So these two both are 400 by 80, so we can highlight them both at the same time. Whoops. Yeah. Right click, cell properties, (400 by 80). Yeah. Apply. And finally, this last one will be 600 by 80 as well. Yeah. Okay, done. Okay, and the most important part is the code right now. So you can see all of the dimensions are in the code. So the table is 1400 pixels wide. This TR means table row. It spans 3 columns. The size of the first row is 1400 by 800. Okay, and then you had another cell, so which was this cell here, which spans 2 columns. It was 800 by 600. Okay, and then you had, what's this one here? Let's double check. I think that must be the split the code. Yeah, so that's the final row where you have 3 cells. Okay, so that's that done. So remember, it's the HTML that's going to be getting marked with all of the file dimensions in here. Okay, so TR is a table row. Column span is how many cells does that cell span. So if you merged it over 3 columns, then it's going to span 3. If you merged it over 2 columns, then it's going to say 2. Right, let me press save. Okay, that's that done. Table borders and grid lines must appear on the final web page. So I think finally if we attach the CSS, and maybe something there regarding the borders, but we'll come back to that later. Right, in cell A, we're going to enter this text here. So which cell is A? A is the top cell here, as you can see. So we go to top one. and I'm going to copy and paste. Obviously you'd have to type in the text, and then we can set this to H1 as shown here. Yep, so that's that done. Place in B text from the ssd.txt file. So B is going to be this box here. So let's open up this. Let's highlight all of the text. And we'll just see if everything's been highlighted. Yep, so we can go to copy, and if we go back to expression, we can paste this text in. And we want to make this, I think it was H2, so let me double check. Okay, so we want to ensure we keep the paragraphs. That's what that basically means, that those breaks. So heading 2, yep, that looks fine with me. Yep, we've got the exact same spacing. So I was just reading this question for a second. Yeah, we want to keep the paragraphs intact. So that's that done. In cell C, we're going to place the image disk 4, which is going to be this one here, this cell C. And add appropriate alternative text to this picture. So in case the picture doesn't load up, then this text will be displayed instead. So if we click on this cell C, you can either click on this icon to insert a picture, or we can click on insert picture from file. It's the same thing pretty much. Let me go to my folder again. And it's going to be disk 4. So the alternative text we can say is SSD disk 4, or disk is fine. Okay, so yeah, looking good so far. In cell D, enter the text homepage and set it as heading 3. So D is going to be, so it's D, E and F along the bottom. Right, go back to expression. So the first cell, paste in the text. Obviously you'd have to write the text in, heading 3. In E, contact us, and that's also going to be set to heading 3. Okay, heading 3. And yep, set this as H3. That's that done. Also done that as well. Now what we're going to do to this text is to make this a hyperlink to open an email editor to send a message to this email address here. So we need to make an email link. So with expression, it's fairly straightforward to send an email link or to create an email link. You highlight the text, right click and select hyperlink, click on email address, type in your email address here. Mail to will automatically appear, and we also need to include a subject line. Okay, so we enter the subject line here as well. Press OK, and then if you go to the code view, what's going to be marked is going to be this here. So this is basically the hyperlink reference. Okay, so mail to, you got the address, and then you got question mark, subject equal, then the subject line. So that's what's going to be marked. If you go to the browser later, we can check to see if this is working. Okay, so that's that done. And then in F, remember F was the last cell, we're going to be entering the text, web page edited by, and then your name, center number, and candidate number, again as H3. So I'll write my name first of all. For center number, I will use 5, 6, 7, 8. And then for candidate number, I use 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to set this as H3 as well. Heading 3, done. And we're going to attach the style sheet SDS style to this web page and save your web page. So to attach the style sheet, you need to make sure you got Manage Styles open. If you can't see it, you can go to Panels, select Manage Styles, click on Attach Style Sheet, browse, and yep, what's the style sheet called again? SSD style. Yeah, it's this one here. Double click. Okay, and you can see the formatting of the web page is slightly changed. Okay, so that's fine. Nothing major. File, save. And still the borders are not showing, so that's fine with the table. Okay, we're now going to be looking at question 13. We need to open a style sheet ssdstyle.css in a suitable software package. We're going to edit a style sheet to meet these specifications as shown. Okay, so let's first of all open the style sheet. So if we go to File and Open and select the style sheet, so we're going to use an expression again, Microsoft Expression Web 4, to open the style sheet. And here you can see we've only have one tag created for H1, 2 and 3 for the font family. So yep, so H1, 2 and 3, the font family is set to Arial. If this is not available, then Helvetica. If either of these fonts or neither of these fonts are available, then display the default sans serif font. So let me double check if that's done right. So we've got Arial, Helvetica, sans serif. Yep, that's fine. The font color we need to set to 36, 12 and 15. So remember, it's going to be RGB, so red, green and blue. So we're going to edit this style now. So make sure Manage Styles is open. If you can't see this panel, you can go to Panel, Manage Styles. Right click on H1, 2 and 3, modify the style, and let's include a color. So by default, let's select black. It's going to be 36, 12 and 15. So 36, 12 and 15 gives us this color here, so that's fine. And all text will be center aligned. Okay, so we go to Block, Text Align, Center, and notice there's American spelling, so center spelled C-E-N-T-E-R, which is fine. Done. Okay. Now what we need to do is create individual tags for H1, 2 and 3, because these styles have different font sizes. Okay, so this will be 40 points, 14 points, sorry, this will be 30 points, 14 points and 20 points high. So since they have individual characteristics now, we need to create separate tags. To do so, we click on New Style. Let's type in H1, and H1 will have a font size of 30. So make sure you change from pixels to points. It's quite an easy mistake to miss out. Done. Now New Style. H2 will be 14. And H3 is going to be, I think it was 20 points. Let me double check. Yep, so that's all that done. Just highlight it as done. Apply. Okay. So next we're going to be looking at table cells. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do actually is the collapsed borders. Okay, so the borders are not going to be collapsed. So what we need to do is let's create a new style called table. And then if you come to table at the bottom, border collapse, if we include separate, this means the table is not going to be collapsed. Okay, so let's include separate, apply, and OK. So do I still have that? Let me explain to you what border collapse is. So if I open up the PDF again, let me see if I can find the example of the collapsed borders, so you can see. So this is an example of where the tables are not collapsed and this is an example where the table has been collapsed, so the two lines merge into one. But in this case we don't want to do a border collapse, so we're going to leave it as separate. Okay. And table cells, the padding is set to 15 pixels. So we can also do that in table, or we can do it in TD. So TD refers to the cells within the table. So I'm going to actually do it in TD in this case. Box padding, so it's going to be 15. Apply. Okay, and finally the background color is going to be set to this. So blue component set to hexadecimal number 99, and FF for both red and green. Okay, so to create the background we need to create new style, body, and we're going to set the background color in background. So this would be the font color. We need to go to background color, let's set it to black. So blue component set to 99, so RGB, so remember B is at the end. And for both the red and green components, FF, so RG, so we need to have 4 Fs at the start. Okay, so that's looking fine for me. Apply, and if I press save, you can see the changes has been applied. Okay, right, so that's that done. Add your name, center number and candidate number as a comment at the bottom of your style sheet. So to add a comment, what we need to do is we need to write /*, write my name, center number 5, 6, 7, 8, and then candidate number 1, 2, 3, 4. Close the comment, star and slash. Okay, save the style sheet into your folder. Display your CSS style sheet in your software package. Take a screenshot showing the content of your style sheet and place this into your evidence document. Make sure all of the contents and file names are clearly visible. So this will be evidence 4. So let me save it again. Take a print screen. Go to my evidence document. Evidence 4. Paste. You want to increase the size so it's nice and clear. You can see the name of the style sheet and then all of the individual tags which have been created. Okay, so yep, that's that done. Right, just before we finish off with the style sheet, I want to show you the padding. If I go to the browser view, let's go to the browser. So here's a table. Okay, I've zoomed out so we can show the full table. If I go back to here, the padding, let me just cut this in table instead, and get rid of this. And if we go back to the web page, let's open this up in the browser as well. Yeah. So this was the before view. The padding has changed slightly, so I just want to show you actually. So this was the before and this is the after. So I think from now on in the future I'm going to do padding in TD. So let's change that back to what it was. So there was a slight difference. Okay, so we'll keep the padding in TD. Let's save a change now. Go back to the web page. We can close the two browsers here. Okay, so display the page in your browser. If necessary, resize so all the page can be seen, all the text can be easily read, the address bar is visible, and for evidence 5, take a screenshot of the browser window and place this into your evidence document. So if we go to File, Preview in Browser, Chrome, So yeah, it's already zoomed out. Don't need to have these two open. Take a print screen. Evidence 5, let's place it onto the next page. Just crop the bottom part off. And yeah, we can keep the browser window, and yep, happy with that. Display the HTML source in your editor, and then take a copy of the HTML source and place this into your evidence document. So this is the most important part of this task today. So if you go to expression, you go to code, you basically need to copy all of the HTML and place this into your evidence document. So this will be evidence 6. So you can see the table sizes, the formatting for the font style. So you can see this is H2. Where's the email link? The email link is here. The font styles are being applied, H3 in this case. So let's copy and paste this for evidence 6. And it doesn't matter, you know, how big the size of the font is. Get rid of that space. Okay, that's fine. Yep. For the HTML, as long as it's nice and clear. And that's it. We've come to the end. So the last thing we need to do is to print off the evidence document. So we're going to save and print off the evidence document. So before we print, we go to File, Print, and you can see here's some questions for evidence 1 and evidence 2 that we answered. Screenshot of the folder showing the pictures we created. Screenshot of the evidence document. I just need to move this title to here. Let's go screenshot of the browser, and then the HTML code. So what we can do, let me just see if I move this to the next page, Control Enter. Oh, let's keep it separate, it's fine, doesn't really matter. Yep, so that's fine, that's finished, and we've come to the end of this paper. So remember, I made a spreadsheet part in a previous video. So that was the paper 3, May-June 2019, version 32. The website section completed using Paint.net and Web Expression, Microsoft Web Expression. So please drop your comments below, like and share this video, and good luck in your exams.